When we enjoy things in life and we indulge in them and we continue to pursue that type of enjoyment again and again with great frequency, the enjoyment that we get from that contact diminishes. At the first moment when you have the first pleasure, for example, an ice cream. It's your first ice cream, you're a young child, you've never had ice cream before. It's immensely pleasurable. But if you have all the ice cream that you want and you just keep on eating ice cream, cone after cone, eventually you stop enjoying it. But if you keep eating the ice cream, eventually you get sick of it. You literally feel sick to your stomach. Now, this applies to everything that we enjoy in life. You might enjoy sightseeing, but if you spend all of your days for years and years, decades and decades, only sightseeing, not doing anything else, at some point, it could be a week, it could be a month, a year, a decade, at some point, you will get tired of sightseeing. You'll get sick of it. You won't get the same enjoyment out of it as you did the first time. And this is called the hedonic treadmill. We pursue and pursue and pursue like as if we're on a treadmill, and we stay in the same place. In fact, you could even say that we're going back or backtracking because the same things that used to bring us pleasure are now not bringing us pleasure. And in some cases, we feel pain if we don't still contact those things, those enjoyments. So you could think of an alcoholic or someone who indulges in alcohol again and again, repeatedly, all the time for years and years. At the beginning, they got pleasure from drinking alcohol, but gradually, as they continued to indulge, they lost the pleasure, but they continued to drink. Why? Because without drinking, they felt pain, they felt displeasure. So, this hedonic treadmill keeps us pursuing these pleasures, either the same ones or new ones, but eventually the result is the same. The more you experience a source of pleasure, the less and less enjoyment and pleasure you get from having that thing. So, how do we counteract this? It requires a certain amount of self discipline. When you find something that brings you pleasure, try not to completely lose yourself in indulgence. Try to step back just a little bit. Try to hold back from completely indulging, which means rather than having all the ice cream you want, maybe you have half of the ice cream you want, or three quarters, or nine tenths, whatever. Bottom line is, you have to try and pull yourself away from just a little bit. Pull yourself away from what you find brings you pleasure. If you constantly pursue it and constantly have it, eventually you get bored of it. Eventually you get sick of it. And in some cases, you can't live without it. So, in lifestyle creep, which is when you spend more money because you have more money, maybe you got a raise at work or you started making more profit, you let your lifestyle creep forward, which means you start to raise your standard of living. So rather than having a small car, you now have a larger car. Rather than having a large car, you now have a luxury car. At some point, you get sick of the car and you feel like you need a new one, a better one. This is the same idea. If we can moderate and control the temptation to have the best possible car that we can afford, or the best possible car that we can borrow for, then likely we can stave off this disappointment that will inevitably feel once that car no longer gives us the same enjoyment. So rather than buying the best things that you can afford, you should try and buy something that's just slightly below that level or as low as you can handle. Because if you don't buy any car, you won't be happy. But because you need a car. But that doesn't mean you have to buy the most expensive, gaudy car you can find that you can afford. So purchasing something just below your level of affordability will help keep your lifestyle in check, helps keep your budget, your spending in check, so that you don't overshoot your own ability, your own capacity to earn and buy things. If you max out everything in your life, you have the best house you can afford, you have the best car you can afford, you have the best of everything, best food, best everything. The moment something goes wrong, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, as it were, because you're maxing everything out, then eventually something will go wrong and you won't be able to cover the emergency expense. And then you may have to sacrifice on your car. You might have to trade your car in for a junk car, for one that barely runs. You might have to sell your house and move into a much smaller living space. So rather than purchasing the best possible thing we can buy, it would be beneficial if we can buy something just below that level, as low as you can handle. So mentally, you have to be able to deal with the fact that you're buying something below your means. If you have that ability to silence your own mind, to placate your own agitation when you're making the purchase, you'll be rewarded over the long run by having extra money, by not indulging in the best thing that you could possibly indulge in. And therefore, you'll keep both your financial stability and the stability of your enjoyment at a level that you can afford. So rather than increasing the speed on the hedonic treadmill, which forces you to earn more and more and more, and when you earn more, you just buy newer things and better things, it would be better if you could find a standard of living where you feel comfortable, but at the same time, you're not overextending yourself financially.